I'm Edie Lush, and I'm here at Hub Culture in Monaco at the Transition Forum. And really pleased Professor Graciela Ciccinelli has come to speak to me, CEO of Global Thermostat. Tell me about the problem you're solving.
The United Nations said that we delayed so much emissions, limiting emissions, that now the only way to avert catastrophic climate change is to remove what we already have in the atmosphere. When I created the carbon credit market in the signing of the Kyoto Protocol, that was in 1997, that was very hopeful because that put limits on the global emissions. And if we had respected those limits, the problem now would not be over, but it will be mostly over. But after Kyoto, the Kyoto Protocol put those limits, a number of nations did not act on it. And prominent was in that was the United States. And then of course the developing nations like China didn't have limits and they became the largest emitters.
Right.
So I decided that even though the carbon market was really in many ways the perfect solution, something immediate was needed. And as I said, the United Nations and the IPCC have now explicitly said we have to remove CO2 from air.
So we've got to take it out of the air.
Physically take it out of the air.
Okay, and that's what Global Thermostat does. How do you do it?
And what Global Thermostat does, it tries to make that commercial. So what you take out of the air, you sell it. So you make money out of it. So you remove CO2 and you sell it and make money.
Okay, so what are the things that you can sell it for?
You can sell it for a large number of industries, including food and beverages that use a lot of CO2, including water desalination, including biofertilizers, including the production of polymers that are made from methane and from CO2, including the production of carbon fibers that are now almost replacing most of the metals like steel and aluminum, and the production of synthetic fuels like gasoline that can be made with CO2 and hydrogen, where the CO2 comes from air and the hydrogen comes from water, and enhanced oil recovery, which is a way of using CO2 as a solvent to loosen up the sticky petroleum and increase the productivity of an oil field. That's $1 trillion market, $1 trillion market.
Incredible. And you've got 3 plants at the moment.
Yes.
And they're producing things like, one is for a major drink company,
Right.
and using it to make the carbonated bubbles that go into fizzy drinks.
That's correct. It's essentially things like carbonated drinks, beer, and champagne. They use a lot of CO2. And they pay a lot of money for it. Right now, you may say, where does it come from? They produce these bubbles right now from burning fossil fuels. So we drink fossil fuels.
That's incredible.
It is. So what we are doing is what I trademark as green bubbles. These are bubbles that come directly from air. They are clean. They are the same air we breathe. We can also drink. So that's what we do. And as I said, beer, champagne, Coca-Cola, Pepsi-Cola, all the soft drinks that are carbonated, millions of tons of CO2 per year.
But what's incredible, Forbes has said you guys could actually reverse climate change. You could halt it and reverse it. So what are the steps you need to take in order to scale this around the world?
The first step is the commercial demonstration. We took several years to develop the technology so that it would be really low cost. Because if it is low cost, you can sell it and make money. If it is expensive, you can.
Yeah.
My whole idea about it is that we have to change the global economy. And therefore, whatever we do has to be profitable. So that people want to continue doing it, so it is sustainable in economic terms. So the low cost was achieved. Now we are building, we're on our third plant, which is commercial. And the next step for me is come up to the point where we can remove 1 gigaton every year, 1 gigaton, which is 1 billion tons of CO2. That doesn't happen in a day, and it's not going to happen tomorrow morning. But with 1,000 plants of 1 million tons a year, then you have a gigaton.
And then you could do it. So in order to halt climate change in the time we need to do it, there's a deadline of 2020 quite soon, and then 2030. How confident are you?
I am confident that we can do it. We need to remove between 30 and 40,000 30 and 40,000 of these 1 million ton plants every year, because that's what we're putting out every year. That means building 30, 40,000 plants of 1 million tons each. Given that in the world of technology there is a law that says you can double the capacity every 18 months or something like that, then essentially we should take us about 20 years to get there from where we're now. That is almost exactly the amount of time to the point of no return. So I am very positive that this can be done. What I'm not so positive is the timing, because everything takes longer and it's a very unusual thing to do, and it requires a lot of changes. So I think it's touch and go whether the world will be able to go through this transition.
Graciela, thank you so much for stopping by, and it was lovely to have you on my panel this morning. I'm Edie Lush.